Hi guys, and thanks for joining us as we wrap up our 8-week broiler project. If you're tuning in for the first time, we started these chickens as 1-day-old baby meat bird chicks and have been walking through the process of raising meat birds week by week, offering our tips, tricks, and advice at each week of raising meat birds. Check out our channel to view each week's videos and the tips, tricks, and advice that we offer at each week of raising your meat birds. And be sure to stay tuned for next week if you can stomach it, as we are going to butcher our own meat birds and walk you through that process. We're pretty excited about it since we couldn't find a processor. Hopefully you did. So our goal, if you remember, was to land at an 8-pound dressed out bird in 8 weeks of raising our meat birds. We weighed one of our broilers today and its live weight has reached 10 pounds in 8 weeks. It's pretty amazing. So when you figure about 20% weight loss through the butchering process, we should meet our goal. It'll be really exciting in a few days when we do process to see what we land at. So since we are just days away from processing, and there's not anything that we need to cover for raising anymore, we have begun preparing for butchering. So I thought I would cover the equipment that we feel the need to have that is necessary, and some equipment that just kind of makes the process a little bit easier if you're going to try to do it yourself. And remember, you can only butcher them yourself if you are consuming them yourself. You cannot sell butchered meat birds if you're butchering them yourself without special permits. Just keep that in mind. So the equipment that's going to be the most necessary for butchering your own birds is going to include a killing cone, a couple good sharp knives. You don't want to use dull knives, preferably ones that are meant for butchering. You will need a few large tubs, as well as, what was the last one? Oh, bags. Yes, you need something to put your finished product in. And then there's a few things that I recommend just to make the process a little easier or cleaner. Aprons are a good idea, gloves are a good idea, boots, very junky clothes, even a hat or a hairnet. And then there's a couple other things that can be found at a lot of butcher supply stores that make the process easier. There is lung removers that helps when you're at the final stage of butchering, which I will show you next week. As well as there's handheld pluckers, so you're not doing all of the plucking manually. But we're gonna kind of show you a manual plucking and then a plucker that we're gonna use as well. And another recommended product is a stainless steel drum to put very hot water in. It makes the plucking process much easier, especially if you're doing it by hand. And I will show you how to use all this equipment next week. I'm pretty excited to show you guys how to process. I understand that that is not something everybody is able to stomach, but if you find yourself in a bind and can't find a processor, we wanted to make sure that we went over how to do it yourself in case you were to find yourself in that situation. So this type of equipment, some of it's available online like Amazon, but not everything I listed is. You can check for your local butcher supply store. You can either look that up online or ask your local meat market where a butcher supply store might be. They would have all of the materials that I've listed for butchering your own meat birds. It'd probably be your best bet. But again, some of it is available on like Amazon or other online sites. You just have to do a little bit of online research to find where you might be able to buy the equipment. So that basically covers it. We're finished with the raising portion of our project. We thank you so much for staying tuned with us. We really hope our advice is helpful and makes the process easier for you. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay tuned as we cover everything chickens, from our hatchery to breeder flocks, crop farm, and more. We are excited to share our farm with you. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.